I'd like to begin by introducing myself. I am Larry Gossett, and currently I'm the chair of the Martin Luther King County Council. So I'm the chair of our legislative branch of government, and our county government is very happy and honored to be able to be the primary sponsor of this great event, which we are calling the 2007 King County Clean Vehicles Now Conference. It is the first ever Clean Vehicles Conference held here in Seattle, and we're really happy that we're able to hold it at the fabulous home of the Seattle Seahawks, Quest Field, and we're equally happy that all of you were able to take out time out of your busy schedule to come and be participants in this conference. We're also happy that we had more people apply to come than we were able to have seats for. That shows how important this issue is to folks throughout the Pacific Northwest, and even some of you came from other places in the country. I'm excited as a county legislature to be involved in this great movement because it is very important that government play a lead role in figuring out ways to reduce our dependency on fossil fuel and foreign oil, which has caused a lot of damage to our environment. It is our hope that this conference will carve out some new, innovative, pioneering ground on how we can do that, at least in the transportation arena. Now with some special thanks. I'd like to begin by thanking the Washington State Department of Ecology, the City of Seattle, the Puget Sound Clean Air Agency, and Snohomish County for making this event possible. Let's give it up for all those entities. We would also like to extend our hands of gratitude to the WestStart, CalStart organization, one of the most prominent non-profit agencies that's working on this issue here on the West Coast and throughout the country. Another and very important organization that's been working with us to put this conference together is the Electric Dry Transportation Association, a national association of organizations working on transportation-related energy-saving enterprises. Climate Solutions, the Sierra Club, ECLI, Local Governments for Sustainable, National Wildlife Federation, the Puget Sound Clean Cities, Transportation Choices Coalition, and Discover Brilliant. Let's thank them for their involvement. We also are aware that many of you represent local cities and other counties that are looking at this issue in the Puget Sound region, particularly how it is that we can address the growing impact of climate change in our community. And some of the cities that are and local communities that are represented here are Pierce County, Snohomish County, Auburn, Bellevue. We also know that there are folks here from Bothell, Des Moines, Everett, Federal Way, Issaquah, Kenmore, Kent, Kirkland, Lake Forest Park, Mercer Island, Renton, Redmond, Seattle, Shoreline, Snoqualmie, Tukwila, and Woodinville. Let's give a hand to all of those of you from those parts of town. I'd also like to mention what we believe will be a big highlight of today's activities, and it's my hope that you've already had the opportunity to visit our clean vehicle ride and drive outside in the north lot. And if you haven't, during lunchtime, we're hopeful that you'll go and visit the ride and drive. And I think you'll be very surprised with some of the vehicles and what they can do as alternatives to a reliance on oil. We will close the day a little later hearing from the legendary astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who will be speaking to you. He has shown us what our nation can do when Americans are truly united around world-changing goals. And we're also very happy that this morning that we were able to get as our keynote speaker Terry Timonen, who is a renowned author. Many of you may have read his book, Lives Per Gallon, The True Cost of Oil Addiction. He was the former chair of the Environmental Protection Agency for the state of California, and he's been in the trenches as an energy advisor all over our country and all over the world. So we're really looking forward to hearing from him later this morning. In between those two keynote speakers, we will have an all-star technology panel. We'll also have an announcement of a regional green fleet initiative that you'll hear about a little later. We'll have more ride and drive opportunities, and we will have 3 fantastic interactive panels where we've drawn upon some of the most influential and creative thinkers around this issue of energy conservation. So please buckle up. This is going to be quite a ride today. To bring us greetings and to welcome us here is my great honor and pleasure to introduce to you the mayor of the great city of Seattle, Greg Nichols. Greg Nichols is a person who's been the mayor this is his second term as the mayor of our great city. Before he was the mayor, I had the honor for 10 years to serve with him on the King County Council. So he is by far one of our most pioneering and progressive elected leaders. And as many of you know, Mayor Nichols has a national reputation for innovative leadership in transportation, public safety, job creation, climate disruption, and other challenges facing our and many other cities in our region. Through the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement, he has connected cities across the nation and the world to stand up against global climate change. Without further ado, I present to you Mayor Greg Nichols.
Thank you, Council Chair Gossett and my good friend. As Larry mentioned, we did serve together for a decade on the County Council, and it is great to be here today at Clean Vehicles Now with King County leading the way along with Weststart in co-sponsoring this great program. I am not going to try and show you how much I know about electric vehicles or biodiesel technology or the like, because you would very quickly see through that. When you start talking about B20 and B95 and that, I think we're playing bingo. But what I want to tell you is what you're doing is very important. The conversations that are taking place today are very important. The innovations that you are bringing about are very important. They're important for Seattle, the county seat of Martin Luther King County. They're important for Washington State. They're important for the West Coast, for the United States, and they're important for our children's children. And I want to tell you a little bit about the story of how we got involved in this and really jumped into the deep end of this issue. When I became mayor 6 years ago, I knew that climate change was an important issue, and it was something that I was concerned about as a citizen, as someone who believes in environmental quality and environmental protection. But it wasn't on the front burner, so to speak. It was one of those issues that seemed like it was a long way away, maybe Phoenix, and that it was a long way in the future, that there was a lot of time for us to work and figure out the answers. But for those of you from Washington State, from the Northwest, you'll remember that the winter of 2004, 2005, we had record low snowpack in the Cascade Mountains. And that was important. It meant that we had no ski season, which of course is a tragedy in any region that enjoys that sport. But more important than that, it meant that 100-year-old systems that we have to provide clean water and green, sustainable electricity were put at risk. We capture the water at the headwaters of the Cedar River. We own a 100,000-acre watershed. It is unique in the country. Those of you who are from the San Francisco area know about Hectecti. It's better than that. And we protect every square inch of it, but we rely on that snow, and when it melts in the spring, we capture it and we use it wisely throughout the year. And later today, I'm going to be going up to Boundary Dam on the Pend Oreille River in the far northeast corner of our state. And that provides us with clean electricity. We have dams on the Skagit River high enough that they don't affect the salmon runs, except that we're able to help protect, and we've had record salmon runs on the Skagit River. So we have these 100-year-old systems, and if you don't have any snow, you have no water, and all of a sudden that sustainable system is put at risk. So that told me that the problem was here and now. And if you'll recall, on February 16th, 2005, the Kyoto Protocol was going into law in 141 countries, but not our country. And that, to me, was a shame. That, to me, was wrong. That the country that has benefited the most from the technologies that are causing global warming would not participate and would not lead that effort. And so I stood up on that day, February 16th, and I said that Seattle would do its part. We would find a way locally, in the absence of federal leadership, to reduce our emissions 7% from 1990 levels as called for in that treaty. But I knew if we did it alone, it would be symbolic. It would be hard to ask people to take tough decisions and make changes in their lives if it were purely symbolic. And so I challenged mayors across the country to join with Seattle in making that pledge. We hoped against hope that we would get 141 cities to join, one for every country in which the Kyoto Protocol was becoming law that day. Well, I'm very pleased to tell you today 672 mayors have signed on to the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement. And at least a couple of them are in the room here today. They represent 73 million Americans. 24% of Americans live in cities that are taking local action to combat global warming. And it has changed the conversation in our country. And of course, now we have to make it real. We've got to figure out how do we actually do that. And there are two places that we go. One of them is our buildings. Our buildings consume a little less than half of the energy that is consumed in our country. It's more in other countries, but since we're so auto-centric, it's a little bit less for us. And Seattle is proud to be home of the largest portfolio of LEED-certified buildings in the United States. And the city of Seattle, if not the largest, is one of the largest owners of LEED-certified buildings in the country. And we're proud of that. And go ahead. And the reason that we're proud of that is that we did it early. We helped to show that technology would work. And in a few cases, we showed that it wouldn't. But you've got to learn. You've got to show people that it works to build confidence amongst private companies and private individuals that they can make it work for themselves. And that is exactly what you're doing. Yesterday was a great day for Councilmember Gossett and I. It was a great day for transit in Greater Seattle and King County. We had a ceremony to mark the reopening of the downtown Seattle Transit Tunnel, which has been closed for 2 years, to retrofit it to handle not just hybrid buses, but also to handle electric light rail vehicles, which will be up and running very soon, and the buses will be in there on Monday. It also was a day when we unveiled the first modern streetcar in Seattle. And it's a bright red vehicle. Nobody will miss it. And it will make a great connection between our downtown and a fast-growing neighborhood called South Lake Union. and the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. And it'll be the first link in a citywide system of streetcars that will get people out of their cars. So we're all part of this, and we're all able to make a difference in a problem that is global. The U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement, which started out symbolic, is no longer symbolic. And people around the country are rolling up their sleeves and figuring this out. In Seattle on Friday, we're going to kick off Seattle Climate Action Now, which will be our year-long campaign to engage our public in ways in their homes, in their businesses, in their neighborhoods, that they can reduce their carbon footprint. So the work that you're doing today is incredibly important. Show that these technologies can work. Take them out of the laboratories and put them on the streets. And you will help us not only to keep that promise that will reduce the Kyoto footprint 7%, but the order of magnitude effort that has to come after that if we're going to make this planet a place that is going to be as good a quality for our children's children as it has been for us. Thank you for your great work. Thank you for your creativity. And thank you for being in Seattle today.